Hi everyone, Joan Sotkin here, and welcome to the Prosperity Show, where we explore the inner path to business and financial success, personal fulfillment, and peace of mind. And today I'm going to talk about expanding your influence this year, because in order to expand your profits in your business, on some level you have to expand your influence. And to go along with this idea, I'm doing a money energy tune-up on January 13th, and you're certainly invited to come to that. There's information about it on prosperityplace.com/tune-up, and I'll have a link to that in the show notes. It's next week, so take a look right away so you can decide if you want to be part of this. Again, prosperityplace.com/tune-up. There's also a link to it from the new homepage on prosperityplace.com. It looks similar, but I've changed things around a bit. So, expanding your influence in 2022. As I say in the beginning, this is the inner path to business and financial success. So what is it that you have to do on an inner level in order to expand your business? I really believe that your business is an extension of you. It's not like you're standing in a place and your business is someplace else, and somehow you and your business are interacting. Your business is an extension of you. And keeping that in mind, if you want to expand your business, how do you have to expand yourself? And because your mindset, what goes on inside of you, thoughts, beliefs, and emotions, are what we're reflecting in your business, what can you look at to keep yourself from getting stuck where you are and moving forward? And it is a matter of energy, which is why I'm going to do the energy tune-up. But there are things you can do on a regular basis in order to facilitate the process. First of all, let's look at your thoughts. That's sometimes the easiest thing to look at, because you're with your thoughts all day long. And if you pay attention to your thoughts, then it's going to be easier for you to change them, because the first step in the process of change is awareness. So how are you thinking about your future and yourself and your business on a regular basis? Do you tend to worry about the future of your business? Do you tend to worry about your money? Do you tend to worry about your relationships because your money is just an extension of your relationship with yourself and others? So the first thing to do is to make a commitment to be more aware of your thoughts on a day-to-day, minute-by-minute basis. And a way of practicing doing this is in meditation. My favorite meditation, that it was one of the first ones I ever learned, was one from Krishnamurti, who suggested that you just sit quietly with your eyes closed, take a couple of deep breaths, and imagine that you're sitting on the bank of a river and your thoughts are the river going by. And the idea is not to try to stop the river, but to just watch it. And what you're really watching is your thoughts going by. And don't try to stop them. Don't judge them. Oh, I shouldn't be doing this. I need to. No. Just let them go by. And if you do that for 10 to 20 minutes for a week or two, your thoughts are going to slow down. And that's what's necessary in order to begin to change them. And the next step is to become aware of yourself in the present moment. And the way to do that is to become aware while you're in this state of awareness or meditation or mindfulness, whatever you want to call it. You're just sitting still, doing nothing with your eyes closed, basically. And just become aware, first of all, of the feeling of your clothing against your skin, because that's very in the moment. Also, become aware after that of the sounds that you hear. Do you hear your heater going off if it's winter, or whatever's going on in your house? Do you hear birds outside? What is it you're hearing? And what is it you're smelling, if anything? Just pay attention to what your senses are experiencing, because in order to do that, you're in the moment. And the idea of altering any part of your mindset requires that you become aware of what it is now, and what it is now is happening in the present. And to become aware of your thoughts, that's sitting quietly, watching the river go by, and you're going to get antsy and want to stop if you haven't been meditating. Even if you have been meditating, it's very possible that you've been doing a mantra in order to keep your mind focused on something. But for this exercise, I'd like you to just watch your thoughts. What happens when you're not distracting yourself with a mantra or something else? Just watching this river go by and watching your thoughts as you just watch them. Don't try to stop them. Don't judge them. So that's for your thoughts. And that's a good place to start, because that gets you into your inner world. And if you're going to be expanding your inner world, then it's a good idea to become aware of what it is now. Okay, so that's one exercise to do. The other one that I like, that I've done a lot of, is to become aware of what you're experiencing in your body, in various parts of your body. And a good place to start is with your jaw. So you're sitting quietly with your eyes closed, and I know a lot of you are already meditating, but this brings the awareness more into your physical space. So if you put your attention on your jaw, and what you do, you've got your eyes closed and you're just paying attention to the feeling in your jaw, and you try to examine the amount of tension that you feel there. And that tension is a state of contraction. And so just become aware of the tension and the contraction, and then imagine that you're letting go. And as you're focusing on your jaw, you just say to yourself, let go, let go, let go. And as you do that, imagine that your jaw is relaxing. And you can do this with various body parts that might be tense. The back of your neck, your shoulders, your abdomen, your arms, your legs. And if you're doing this during this quiet session that you can call meditation, then it's going to help you learn how to consciously let go of the tension and the contraction, because in order to expand internally, this is what we're doing, is you're letting go of the contraction. It's like when I tell people to get in touch with their money feelings. It's like when you look at your bank balance, do you feel contracted or expanded? And the idea for expanding your influence and your business is to become aware of where you are contracted, because that contraction is going to keep you from expanding, and you probably have a lot more contraction than you're aware of. When you're meeting new people, are you contracted? When you're watching the news, if you do you feel contracted? When is it during the day that you feel contracted? And so the idea is to become aware of the difference within yourself as to when you feel contracted and expanded. And when you become aware of the contraction, is to take a deep breath and imagine yourself expanding. I am expanding. And when you're expanding, you can imagine it happening in your body, or you can imagine parts of your life expanding. For example, you can imagine yourself, if you want to, in a bigger dwelling. Now, it depends upon your age, whether you're going to want to do this. At my age, people are downsizing, but that downsizing can actually lead to feelings of expansion, because you're letting go of some of your responsibilities and things you have to think about. And in any situation, you can feel contracted or expanded. So what do you have to do in order to feel expanded? I remember when I was taking flying lessons, and I got to the point where I could solo and go up into the air by myself. And for me, that was a very expanding experience, because there I was above everything and seeing a much bigger picture. If you live in a city like New York, it's sometimes hard to feel expanded because you're surrounded by so many tall buildings and lots of people, and it takes a little extra effort to see yourself expanding out of your own little space. But that feeling of expansion, if you can learn it, is going to help you expand your presence in the world, which is expanding your sphere of influence. Now, there have been times when I have chosen not to expand in the world, but to expand my inner world without knowing what I was doing. I just knew that my goal, which was coming from deep inside of me, was to be able to really listen to the voice of my intuition. We all have it. I have lots of people tell me they hear it, but they don't follow it. And my goal is to always follow it. And when I started doing this a couple of years ago, little did I know that we were going to come into COVID, which was the perfect opportunity to contract a bit. You know how sometimes, like, runners will kind of pull in before they start their run? It's that bringing your energy in before you let it out. And you can do that on a daily basis if you choose, which is to me partially what meditation or mindfulness or whatever you want to call it is all about, where you're sitting with yourself and drawing all your energy in so that when you go out into the world, you then have this inner push that allows you to move farther than you would if you hadn't done that pullback. Now, I'm not expecting anyone to do it for a couple of years the way I did, but it's like when I gave everything I owned away, that was the grand the grand doing of the pulling in, and I had no idea what I was doing then. And even when I did it starting a couple of years ago, I didn't realize what was happening. I didn't realize why I had to do it or what the end result would be. And it was very interesting because if you listen to this podcast on a regular basis, then you may have heard me do the one of heart of peace, heart of war, or heart of war, heart of peace. And I noticed, and this was not that long ago, I think it was in probably November, when I came to understand my heart of war and how that was affecting decisions that I made, both in my business, in my life, and certainly with my money. And when I came to understand how that was serving me in some way with my relationship with my brothers and other people, and I let go of it, suddenly everything started expanding. And after not doing much on my website for a couple of years, I suddenly had the urge to really look at my coaching business and decide how I want to expand that. I signed up for software called Coach Accountable, which gives me things that I can do with my clients that adds much more value to what I'm doing with them. And I've just found in the last couple of weeks, and certainly during the break that we've just had for the holidays, it allowed me to start doing things that I had not been doing. I made the decision to do the money energy tune-ups once a month and to do a little more marketing about it, to tell people about it. And I also don't want to do a whole lot of pushy marketing. So my idea is, and I've said this many times, when you get yourself into the right place, that what you need will show up. So if I get my consciousness in an expanded state, then I believe that what I need will show up. And I see it happening already. And I'll certainly give you reports on it as we move along. But it's not external circumstances that are keeping you stuck or keeping you small. It's how you think of yourself, how you feel about yourself in relation to the external world. So that when you're with people and you feel smaller than them, then you have the option at that moment, because you're going to get in touch with this feeling of contraction, of taking a breath and just allowing yourself to feel expanded. Because you're as big as you want to be. And that's an interesting statement, because I used to think I wanted to have $1 billion business. That was when I was really feeling inadequate, and I thought I needed lots of money to be adequate. But now that I've gotten much older I just had my 81st birthday, and my life has changed a lot. I really don't have the same kind of ambition that I had before. I think that's something that happens naturally as you get older. But that doesn't mean that you have to have less or earn less. What it means is that you have a different cadence in your life. The energy is different. So rather than push, 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 which I did at one point, though, I got to have more business, I got to have a bigger business. When I had the crystal business, I was always coming up with new projects, and I enjoyed what I was doing, and I wasn't that stressed out because I was already meditating. I still had to deal with a lot of physical stuff that I had not changed yet, but that pushing, that need for more, I really saw that having more did not necessarily make me happier. So as I grew older, my goals changed. I turned into feeling goals. What do I want to feel? I want to feel peace of mind. I want to feel comfortable. I want to feel a part of. I want to feel connected. Those are feeling goals. And what I see is that by spending the time inside that I have, those feeling goals have come to pass, and it's being reflected in my relationships and in my business, because I see business as a place to do relationships. The marketing that I want to do is relationship building, not necessarily throwing information at people. I see that because there's so much information being thrown at people that the old marketing methods don't always work. Because if you're just throwing information at people, and this happens sometimes if you're creating funnels, then they don't have a chance to get to know, like, and trust you, which is how people make buying decisions these days. And of course, there are always people who are willing to fall for things. I read a story this morning about this fellow who was scammed by someone and was promised that if he did certain things that he would get millions of dollars if he helped this person. And after he had spent a couple of $100,000 and actually borrowed money, he discovered that it was a scam. So it's those pie in the sky things. You know, some people used to fall, they may still fall for the Nigerian prince who just wants you to help him so you can get a couple of $1 million. And it's about who you want to be and what your relationship with your business wants to be. And, you know, when you're just getting started, it's going to be different as you grow older. There's no doubt about it. I've seen this happen over and over again, not just with myself, but with other people. But as I said, that doesn't mean you have to have less. It means you just allow it more easily to come into your life. So I hope you'll spend a few minutes a day just watching your thoughts, becoming aware of what it feels like within your being, and to imagine yourself expanding. And to imagine yourself expanding. Because as you expand within yourself, that will allow you to expand within the world. I did an interview recently with Kimberly Rausch, whose book is Who Are You When You're Big? Or When You're Big, Who Are You? I always get the two mixed up. and she really helped me think about that. Who am I when I'm big? And that allowed me to think back into my past when I had my crystal business and when I was doing certain things and how I felt in those situations when I was working in show business. And that was a long time ago when I was selling great books of the Western world and I was one of the top salespeople. I felt big. So it had nothing to do with what I was doing on the outside. It had to do with how I felt. And in order to feel big and expanded, you have to really become aware of where you're feeling and thinking and believing that you're small. And I hope you'll come to my Rapid Money Energy Tune-Up on January 13th, I think it is. It's next Thursday. And I'm going to do one of these energy shifts that people have found very effective. So in order to sign up for that, you just have to go to prosperityplace.com/tuneup and you'll see what it's all about. And I'd love to hear from you about how you feel about how limited you might be now and whether you're willing to do what has to be done in order to allow yourself to expand. And it really has to do a lot with how you think about yourself, how you feel about yourself, and what you believe about yourself. And because your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions are all just habits. And you have the option of changing those habits, which is a lot of what I talk about, and it's what I do when I'm working with people to help them become their bigger selves so they don't have to be stuck in something they learned early in childhood or comes with your ethnic background. I mean, it's amazing how complicated we are and how so many people have tried to simplify the process by saying you have to do one thing and this other thing. It's a lot of things. It's like you really have to decide who you want to be and what you have to alter within yourself in order to be that. It's not going to happen from the outside. It has to happen from the inside. So I thought that this would be a good start to the year where we look at our lives and say, okay, do I want to stay where I am or do I want to expand a bit? Now, keep in mind that I'm 81 years old and I'm not satisfied with staying where I am. I'm satisfied where I am, but not with not expanding. We live in this expanding universe. So when you decide to expand who you are and expand your sphere of influence, you're tapping into that energy of expansion that's really part of our entire being. So I hope you'll sign up for the tune-up. And I am going to do them once a month. And I'm trying to decide, since when I do these energy tune-ups, I usually talk about a topic and then do the tune-up. And so I've done them about getting over financial fear, and I forget what the one was last month, the last one I did. And I may put them together so that they're accessible to people. And often when I do these tune-ups, it's for me as much as anyone else. Because I find that when I do these tune-ups, I'm tapping into everyone's energy. And it's not like we expand individually. We all expand together. So that's it for today. I really appreciate all the people who have followed me for as long as they have. And with all the podcasts that are out there now, I realize you have lots of choices. And someone told me the other day that she's been listening to me for 7 years. That just expanded me terrifically. It really felt so good. And I look forward to interacting with you in one way or another over the next year and beyond. So that's it for today. Thanks for being here. And I do look forward to interacting with you next time. Bye now.